hello. I'm Dario from LORIOT, and this is Future Frame, episode 3, where we explore what's next in innovation, tech, and culture through fresh voices and eventually unexpected perspective. Today, we're going to talk about IoT and how these set of technologies are shaping the cities we live in and making them smarter, hopefully, no? More livable, more resilient. And together with me to talk about this interesting topic, there is a very, very a real specialist. I'm very happy to have him as a guest, as I know him very well. And every time we meet at events, we have very interesting conversation, and I really hope this is one of them. So let's start, and let's start this episode. And here it is. Welcome to Future Frame, to Joaquin Cervera, CEO and founder of Cloud Studio. And I'm very happy to have you with me here today. So before starting our conversation, for those who doesn't know it, can you give to our audience a short introduction about your company, what you do?
Sure. Hi, Dario. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So my name is Joaquin Cervera. I'm the CEO of Cloud Studio. And in Cloud Studio, we do something that is very simple to say, but very hard to execute. That is that we turn data into decisions. Okay, so we have built a no-code IoT platform that helps cities move from and manufacturers, of course, and industries, to move from the concept of we have sensors to the concept of we have useful information that drives action, basically. So over the years, we started in 2017 in Argentina, and we started with a very big project in the city of Buenos Aires for smart street lighting. And right now the project has nearly 140,000 luminaires or streetlights connected to the platform. And then we moved to different projects from oil and gas, logistics, buildings. Even we have a partner working in early fire detection using thermal cameras. So that's what we are doing, and that's where we are.
I think we are going to have opportunity to also go into some specific use cases or project you have in the field. My first question, now we can start already, let's say, our conversation. My first question is, how did you see evolving the IoT market, and of course your company? How did it evolve through the time? No, what has changed?
Yeah, what has changed is that I think that right now it is in a mature stage. Years ago, when we started in 2017, IoT was completely fragmented. It was like everything was on their own. All the companies were on their own, and there was not an ecosystem. Right now, I think that most of the companies, or all of them, should know that there is an IoT ecosystem, and that we complement each other to make it better, faster, and to enhance the experience to the final customer, to the cities, to the customers. Okay.
Yeah,
so right now, I think that basically we are moving into a stage in which IoT is not that complex as it used to be, and we have been able to eliminate barriers and to stop talking about the data silos and different systems and different protocols and different devices. Right now, most of the companies are looking into collaborations, into working together.
Thank you. Yeah, Yes, I completely agree that the ecosystem has made things much easier
Yeah.
and reducing the complexity of IoT, which is, well, still it's not let's say as easy as AI, for example. No, it's just not a prompt that solves everything, but because of course it involves hardware and many other components. But yeah, now we are, let's say, we promised our audience we're going to talk smart city, but I want to make another little step back in our conversation. As you mentioned, the importance of turning data now into value. And so I want to, let's say, start a little bit broader. And so how is important this data layer in the IoT? So let's start a little bit. This is, of course,
Okay.
general. It also not, of course, important for smart city, but every other
Mhm.
industry sectors also, let's say, have these data layers in common, no?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, this data layer is like the heart of IoT. So basically, without it, sensors is just noise. It's useless. So it's funny because, for example, Gartner says that 80% of IoT projects fail because data doesn't become some business value. So what we see is that like if the sensors don't generate real data, and that data is being used to take action, then it's useless. So that's what we should try to avoid, because that's complete failure.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And also the importance of, because data is everywhere, the
Yeah.
importance of understanding which data we need for the
Hmm.
outcome we want to. So I remember, I don't remember who said, but it's very nice. He said, if the data is shit in the input, the output is gonna be is
The
gonna be the
famous
same.
the
Exactly.
famous shit in, shit out. Yeah. Com-
Exactly. Sorry,
completely agree.
I can't make the proper quote. But yeah, it's absolutely true with IoT and smart city. So we finally can start with our main topic. And the first question, that just to, let's say, set the background for everyone, is your definition of smart city.
Okay, so a smart city is a city where the data is used to learn and act based on its data. So if that data isn't used to enhance the citizens' quality of life in that city, if it's not safer, it's not cleaner, it's not more efficient, then it's not a smart city. It's just an expensive city. So that's the main thing about smart cities. And also a very important thing is that it should be clear what's the goal of before applying technology. So what are we trying to what are we aiming? What are we trying to solve? It's not applying technology only for to be innovative, because that's useless as well. We need to understand which are the cities, the problems in that city, which are the pain points. We need to dive in before deploying any kind of technology. So, and of course, another thing is that there's not a standard smart city project that you can apply everywhere. You need to be custom, tailor-made, of course, based on technology that is already proved and is already deployed in different cities. But at the end of the day, it's a tailor-made suit for
Yeah.
each city.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And you mentioned quality of life for the citizens. I would also, and I also like to add resilience, because things are changing. The climate is changing, and these are new challenges. Maybe not current, so maybe we are not experiencing the pain yet, but it's coming. And I think that technology and IoT can make cities smarter in a projection of being ready when these challenges are actually arriving. No, so
Mhm.
prepare the city for the future. This is also, I think, one element. You talked about the citizens, but of course, smart city has many players, many stakeholders. So
Yeah.
who are they? And most importantly, do they all agree on the basic definition? Because sometimes it's like I do it for consensus for the next election or whatever. No, so
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thing as well. It's a smart city is starting with the city. There are many different stakeholders, and probably they don't have the same idea of the smart city. So one of the biggest misconception is that just applying the technology will solve everyone's problems, and they need to understand that there should actually be an operational transformation in those projects where it will change how the city works in a certain way. So if you are used to do manual work on streetlights and do some routines on the streetlights, applying this kind of technology will change those routines, will change the way they work on their infrastructure. And the city should be capable of adapting. It's like a cultural transformation as well. It's not just technology. So the city and the maintenance sector of the city should be able also to adapt their process in order to take advantage of the technology. If not, technology will be just another pain that is useless, and they will keep doing what they have always done, the same process, the same manual process that they have always done.
yeah, they deploy sensors everywhere, not to measure
Yeah.
quality, and then they don't use the data, they don't use the information. It's true. It's very true. What you said is crucial. So, if we go into, let's say, an example of city smart city project, what actually are, let's say, the main key characteristics that have to happen to make it successful?
Okay, that's for me. The starting point is a a clear problem. You need to have a very clear problem to solve. So let's say lighting, safety, mobility, energy. Then you need, of course, to have a unified data platform. So basically, also, if trying to solve these different problems, you start to solve them with different platforms that don't talk between each other's, sensors that don't talk between different platforms. Then you are stuck in the same problem. Basically, you have data silos, and you have to have different management for each of those platforms, and you cannot share data between them, and you cannot take action as a whole. Okay. An integrated operation, of course. So sharing those or crossing data from waste management into street lighting, into water management, into mobility. It's I think it's essential. And of course, and not the citizen engagement, basically. So if the citizens are not involved in these smart cities, then also it's just a waste of money.
Yeah.
If people don't believe, the project won't scale, basically.
You should say it again because it is very true. Can you please?
Sorry. If people don't believe, the project won't scale, basically.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And how is the situation? You have the, let's say, the experience both in Europe, Latin America, especially, also other markets. But it's what's the situation? Is the stakeholders, the citizens are ready? The standards are in place. What's the difference between the two markets?
Well,
In order to fulfill this, I
yeah.
think I counted correctly 4 key, critical aspects.
Yeah. So basically, this is not anything new for people, but basically, Europe is famous because of its standards, and it's much more regulated, of course, and of course, it's much more mature. Cities are very mature, but there's still a lot of space for adoption. There is a lot of cities that still haven't started with the process. Okay, because at the end of the day, it's a process. It's not just a project. It's a process of many different projects So you need to go to start from one pain point, but then another will come and another project will arise. So it's not just a one smart city project. It is going step by step, but of course with a common goal and a very clear problem to solve. Okay, so going back to Europe, if, of course, more standardized, more mature, and much more regulated. LATAM, on the other side, is faster in certain way because problems need to be solved quickly because they're very urgent, and it really has a great impact. Okay, but and so innovation is easier because of course you don't have that much regulation, and you need to solve pains that are real and immediate. Okay, so at the end of the day, it's I think we have like in Cloud Studio we have like a combination in which we have learned a lot from LATAM, and we are also learning a lot in Europe as well to push from the standards perspective to build a better and more solid solution.
Yeah, this is very interesting. The different in standards. So LATAM is faster in the adoption to deploy, but so are the standards important? In Europe, I know there is this FIWARE, so that is it should be the standard, should be everywhere, and well, first of all, probably your platform is compatible with standard.
Yeah.
But when there is no standard, this integration, this avoiding the silos, is easier, is the same. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's practically impossible. So we definitely need standards. We need interoperability. We need compatibility. And basically, FIWARE is one of the most interesting and most expanded initiatives here in Europe, and also it is expanding a lot in Latin America. And it's a common language. So because at the end of the day, platforms like ours, we believe from the beginning that data is not ours; it's from the customer, and the customer should be able to move data from and however he wants. So if we don't have standards, that's impossible. So we need FIWARE we need standards like FIWARE to be able to do that. And in smart cities, particularly, FIWARE is growing really fast. And right now it's like it's very common to see FIWARE ready or FIWARE based in every tender that we look at.
Yeah. And so let's go to a little bit to some example, real cases, real deployments, and real lesson learned. So, for example, I know you have a very nice project. I would like to know more because I think it's particularly complex. So I guess the lesson learned there are a lot. You have a project in the Canary Islands.
Yeah.
7 islands, multiple ferries. I mean, it's called remote locations. So in this case, which challenges you faced and how you prepared your solution, but also the city to overcome them?
Yeah. To summer, to resume the project. Yeah, we had last year we had a project in the Canary Islands where we deployed 240 sensors in more than 120 schools through the 7 different islands, and we had done that crazy project in 20 days. So it was really exhausting, but it was a pleasure, and it was like an amazing experience. What we learned is that you need to plan everything at the most possible detail, everything. And although probably most of the plan will not go as you plan it. You need to plan everything. So that's what we have done, and that's what it was a very heavy plan, because we had to we went, it's kind of crazy and funny at the same time, but we went through the 7 islands with an RV, with a van full of sensors, going around the 7 island, deploying sensors everywhere.
Yeah.
And
I could do that as well with you.
yeah, that was a unique experience. I don't know if I would repeat that, but to be honest, I think it was great. Of course, we had a great support from our team as well. Not only the one that was in place, but also in Madrid. We had a team of particularly Adri from our team. It was amazing how he helped us plan and anticipate everything that was going on, because you need to coordinate in each site at what time you're getting. If the site is available, they have to open the school or open whatever. So uh, I know that if we talk about the technology, I think on that side it's kind of solved, because we already know the devices, the connectivity, the platform. But when it gets real, when you need to go to the site, you start seeing completely different problems, like very simple problems that you will never imagine. Like the school is closed, and it should be open. And what are you doing? You need to go to the next school. So and it was crazy. Or I don't know, maybe you need to install a sensor in one place, and they define that you need to. They wanted to change in the middle of the deployment. So yeah, you start, or even we need to take a ferry to go to the next island. Then the ferry, we miss a ferry. We need to wait for the next ferry. So all the planning is delayed. So yeah, it's we learn a lot about this project. We have a yeah, it's a great lesson for us. So 80% of the IoT work happens before you plug in a sensor.
Yeah. We had similar cases. We have maybe not everybody knows, but we have also with LORIOT end-to-end vertical solution division, and we had a very nice project here in Valencia. And at the end, everything was planned perfectly. But as you said, things go go differently. So we had this. We have to deploy the sensors, about 100 sensors, and the sensors arrived later, much later than expected, a couple of days. And the presentation, the press release, because it was an important project, was anticipated. So we had this crash in the and we basically received the sensors the day before. And well, I'm in the market, but I was involved there because we needed to configure the sensors and to register to the platform all the 100 sensors before the event, before the big launch and press release. So it was really until, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning or 4. I don't remember exactly because it was exhausting, but it was also very fun. But yeah, it's as you said, you can plan everything perfectly, but then something happened.
Yeah,
You have to adapt. And one thing that is important to also consider sometimes is the connectivity, because we are talking about cloud, and Cloud Studio is cloud first platform, but sometimes on premise it's necessary in different environment, or depending on the type of structure, for security reasons. So what's in your experience, let's say, the difference, where is cloud versus on premise? What's is the balance there?
Yeah. So what we are seeing in the market is that mostly in private sector and in critical infrastructure, energy, manufacturing, and sometimes in government even. The cloud is often not an option directly. So because of cybersecurity regulations, or even because connectivity isn't reliable in the middle of an oil well, for example. So that's why we develop like a version of the platform that is completely on premise, and it can even work offline or off or not connected to the internet, but you still can rely on IoT technology. So in general, what we are seeing is that in some specific projects for private sector, for big companies that are not cloud first, it's cloud when possible, basically. They prefer to go on. They need to adopt IoT, but they cannot do it because of the cloud. So we are trying to offer a new opportunity, a new option for them. So basically, at the end of the day, is technology should adapt to the customer, not the other way around.
Yeah, this is true, and I think this could lead to my next question. Now that technology should adapt, but sometimes from an IoT provider, you have to manage expectations. So yeah, it's like this, because I mean they are smart cities and they imagine now everything moves by themselves. No complete automation, everything works without people or whatever. So the question is, what is let's say one key lesson that the city,
Yeah.
so the client in this case, should know before starting to avoid no.
Yeah. So at least my advice should be start small, but start with integration. Okay. So the worst thing a city can do is to run 10 isolated pilots, for example, that they don't connect to each other, and then it's like it's more expensive to try to integrate all those than if you would have started with the integration idea in mind. Okay, so the best thing for me is to run a pilot connected to a unified data platform that can scale afterwards. So you can run it, but every time pointing to a same data platform.
Yeah, that's a very important suggestion, and I couldn't agree more. To start thinking already to the next step, even if now we are looking if the smart parking is working, which
Yeah.
is, we have to think already at the beginning what's gonna be the final goal for the city, what kind of smart city the city wants to be, and yeah, integration is definitely a key in this sense. So we're about half an hour already conversation. So of course, people, we are live on LinkedIn and people can interact. If you have question, please, this is the moment. Otherwise, I have, let's say, my final question. That's our question. If you could frame just one idea to shape a better future for the smart city sector, what it would be.
Okay, so if I have it's a complicated question, but if I had to choose one big idea, it would be like city data should be treated as public infrastructure, basically. It's as much important as any other infrastructure in the city. So when data is standardized, interoperable, I think innovation flourishes. So the future isn't about having more sensors. It's about having more shared intelligence.
Yeah, it's I cannot add anything to this. Thank you. So I don't see any question. It's half an hour as promised. Very nice conversation. Thank you again, Joaquin. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insight. And yeah, of course, if you are watching this episode, also a replay on YouTube, and if you're liking, don't forget to follow and yeah, to be part of this journey we're building toward a better future we're building all together. Thank you again for being with us, Joaquin, and thank you to our audience, and to the next episode.
Thank you, Dario. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.